So the first one is this Lilith deck. Um, so what did you build your Lilith deck on the basis of? Was it just like good stuff?
I had different outs like Deathfire Crescendo, Soul Grimoire, um, Soul Shatter Pact,
Okay, yeah, that's basically what
and
I'm doing. So my idea was, as well as playing the Wraithlings, you get to play all these like really value-heavy Dying Wish minions. So people will only have so much to spell and transform and stuff, and there's only so many combo pieces that you can actually play. There aren't that many individual payoff cards. So I can play like I can still play Ferosa, Blood Moon. Let's have a look. Let's go from the start. So we've got Ferosa, Cryptographer, Primus Fist, Deathfire Crescendo, Horror Burster, Sarlacc, I guess Ritual Banishing, Soul Grimoire, Voidsteel, Wraithling Swarm, Blood Moon Priestess, Black Solus, and Shadow Dancer. And those are basically the swarm pieces. So that's like 9 or 10 cards. And Variax, but she stands by herself. And then, because people's removal...
oh, you have a Variax of your own?
I did have Variax, yeah, I just didn't draw her. I think she was in my opening hand
okay.
once, and I just replaced her. Nice and easy. And then there's these Dying Wish minions that are just these big value cards. We have Duelyst, I guess Sarlacc kind of counts. Void Hunter sort of counts, like she's not that exciting, but it's just a nice cantrip. Kron doesn't have Dying Wish, but he's a big value minion. Reaper of Nine Moons, Grimes, Klaxon, Vorpal Reaver, Spectral Revenant. I guess again Variax is a big minion, kind of counts. And then we have Nether Summoning to tie all that together. And then I was filming for the new Thor movie coming along. I think comparing my appearance to Chris Hemsworth is about as big a compliment as I'm ever going to get in that regard. Although I think I have the wrong colour of hair. Do I actually sound like Chris Hemsworth? I guess I just have a British accent, and presumably you're...
And probably all British accents.
On average, the average viewer probably isn't British.
No, Chris Hemsworth, he's Australian, isn't he? Or is it American? I don't know. I don't know celebrities.
Maybe he was putting it on for the movie. People tend to affect... I'm pretty sure he had a British accent in the film. He might have been acting it. Yeah, I also jammed in Consuming Rebirth for the lulz. Mostly for
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm playing all
Hey, I was right the first time.
Yeah.
Hemsworth is Australian.
Oh, he is? Oh, nice. Your accent is pretty fake Aussie sounding. That's quite interesting. That's probably the Welsh bit.
Wow.
I've always thought there's some vague similarity. I don't have a very good Australian accent, before you ask. That's interesting. I'd not thought that about myself. But yeah, that's the Lilith deck. We have some swarm stuff, some value stuff, bunch of good removal because it's Abyssian, some solid 2-drops that probably go in most decks. Shroud, Mystic, Jaxi, P-Fist, Ether Master, Cryptographer. Actually fewer 2-drops than in most of these decks. Non-verbal, I really like your accent. Oh, thank you. I'm glad, because I spend most of these streams talking at the air. So I'm glad I sound alright. Actually, it took me a while to get over hearing my own voice recorded. Like, when I started making videos, I would watch them back and hear my own accent really, really thick, and I sounded awful. But getting a decent mic helped with that as well. Like, reduces distortion and makes you sound less kind of tinny and squeaky. It's pretty good, but it's not going to stop reminding people of Thor, so that you'll have to live with. That is fine. I spent a fair amount of time at work today listening to Viking metal. There's at least some similarity. Right, what's next? So this is the Starhorn deck. This is a really low curve face deck intended to punish people for playing basically decks like the Lilith deck. Whether it works, I'm not entirely sure. It felt a bit shonky, but like the ability to curve out and make nut draws against people who are basically always going to have clunky hands, so strong. So it definitely needs tuning, but it's basically just like low curve good things. Like most of these you'll have seen in aggro decks before. Blood Tear, Dream Gazer, Greater Fortitude, Lava Lance, Ether Master, Crypto, Entropic Gaze, Ephemeral Shroud, Flameblood Warlock, Grow, Mystic, Jaxi, Moor, Primus Fist, Rancor, Rustcrawler, Young Silithar, my 1 and 2 drops. So I have like this absurd number of potential turn 1 plays as well as natural selection being a cheap interactive spell. For 3 drops, we have Blazehound, Chaos Elemental, Ragebinder, Saberspine Tiger, and Thraix. This guy is very much an experiment, but he was pretty good in that one game where I played him. But that's definitely better than I've seen him do before. And Vindicator and Wings of Paradise were just like really good aggro bombs. And then the 4 drops are basically finishes and weird annoying cards. So Decimus, Tegete, Elucidator, Sphinx. And then above that we've got a Kron and a Warbeast.
Wow.
Yeah, Sphinx is really spicy. I have a constructed deck that has a playset of Sphinx in it. And it's actually quite a good card. Like, especially against Arcanists, because their hand fills up with illusions and they can't. Like, they do get more illusions off the spell, but that's fine. It means they fills their hand up and they mill more cards. Because you're drawing them cards anyway. It doesn't matter if they generate more value off their Circuluses. Like, I'd much rather them have 4 2-1s in hand than cards.
Because Fae ramped up already, you kind of like negate the mana ramp with them having to spend the 2 mana. I mean, just for a turn, probably.
A little bit.
Just to get rid of the Widow.
Yeah. Like, in practice, what actually happens is people will sit there having the thing in hand for like 4 turns while they curve out. If you flash Sphinx on turn 1, they will not replace for half the game. And it really messes them up. And you're halfway through the game, and you're like, man, my opponent's draws have been rubbish again. What the hell? And you realize it's just because they're not replacing. And normally in CCGs, you get bad draws, right? And the replace mechanic smooths that over so much. And if you ever like doubt the power of the replace mechanic, put Sphinx in your deck and watch your opponents fall apart. It's amazing. It's actually a really powerful card, I think. But you have to, it's better when you make good abuse of it. Yeah, so that's this deck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we have Vath. This is my Vath's... Oh, that's the wrong one. It reordered. So this is Vath Smash as applied through Highlander. It's basically just things to buff Vath, big minions, a little bit of healing, whatever I have, a couple of artifacts. I've considered putting Artifact Hunter in, but I couldn't really find a slot. So again, we have most of the usual 2-drops. This one has As a Herald, unlike the others, for extra healing, so I'm going to be using my face more. Still got Ragebinder, Saberspine. No Chaos Elemental in this one. I think he was like the 41st card or something. He did almost get in, but I cut him for something useful. Oh, Iridium Scale maybe. Still got a Spikes. This isn't Keep of Earth where you want to never play cards. We still have a low curve. And then what's different? We've got Scorn, Drogon, Silhouette Trace, and these kind of bombier cards than the Starhound deck had. And then a fairly meaty top end. Sunsteel, Ulquian, Dancing Blades, Lava Slasher, Spirit Harvester, Warbeast, Ruby Rifter, and Red Singer, and then a bunch of removal. I had Metamorphosis, which I actually drew near the game with the where I was trying to find the last 7 damage. I had the Metamorphosis. I was like, does this kill you? And it just about didn't do it, like, for the same reason, because I was like blocking my own minions in, basically. That was a very interesting game. I'm sure there's some play I could have made, like if I'd changed the position of one of my units ever so slightly, I would have won the game or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly, if you hadn't
we're checking out the replays. See what happened.
You freezing the Lava Slasher for 2 turns made a huge difference because I couldn't move it up the way.
Oh,
that was
so beautiful.
That was the play that won you the game. I think the freezing on the Lava Slasher.
The flash freeze for 0 mana.
I mean, it's in your deck, right?
That was beautiful.
Yeah. No, having the 2 turns in a row of freeze as well. That was perfect. There's something to bear in mind with this sort of deck that I didn't really plan for because I was playing a bit too conservatively. So maybe I should have just gotten closer to you with Vath and not worried so much about.
But I made it so that
attacking me.
You didn't get any closer because I played minions on the other side of the board. I mean, I tried to anyways.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking like the turn before that. Before you played the Deathblighter, like I probably should have moved in closer, and made it harder for you to. I should have thought about the possibility of you doing that, immobilizing the Lava Slasher. So yeah, those are the 3 decks I've built so far. I will want to explore the other factions. I think there's a lot of potential. Like imagine a big Lionar mid-range deck, right? Because there's so many big bombs you can play. And you can protect them with Aegis Barrier as well. Like, you still get, like, Suntide Maiden, Ironcliff, Solarius, Elix, Grandmaster Zir, Peacekeeper, like, Second Sun, Sky Phalanx, Dawn's Eye. I've just scrolled through the Lionar. The last 7 cards in my Lionar collection are all massive bomb legendaries. Like, you could just play them all and be happy about it. Like, in a
You,
format
you
where
need
people
to
have, like...
you need
Go on.
2 drops at least or something though.
Yeah, but you're playing Lionar. Like, you have some of the best 2-drops in the game. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
including, like, Sunwisp is good. Windblade Adept's obviously great. Sunstone
Sunwisp was
Templar,
pretty good.
very playable. Fizz, you can play Fizz. And, you know, this is without neutrals. Like, you obviously still get the same neutral package everyone else gets, but you've got 3 or 4 really good... you got Arclight Sentinel, Radiant Dragoon. Like, these cards are all really playable. No wonder Lionel's good in Gauntlet. Look at this nonsense.
How bad is a turn 1 slow?
Don't do that. Don't put slow in your deck in this format. Like, just don't. Oh, Decimate! Oh my god. Get so many people with that. You could play, like... You could play an artifact package as well, right? So obviously you're playing Regalia, because it's, you know, if you own Regalia and you have a Lionheart deck, you put Regalia in your Lionheart deck. You can play Dawn's Eye, and then you can play an Artifact Hunter, and try and get, like, that combo together and become an unstoppable Juggernaut. Perfect. And you get some really good healing as well. Like, there's so many disgusting things you can do with Lionheart just with a mid-range deck. Songhai, I was quite impressed with
your Oath, Circle of Life.
Yeah, like Sundrop Elixir if you really want it. Yeah, all sorts of good stuff. You get Divine Bond as well, which, like, even if it's a one-off, people always have to play around it. Yeah, I was quite impressed.
Blaze and Bond is such a good combo.
Yes, yeah, you definitely want Afterblaze in that deck. It's a lot of tempo. Like your Songhai deck.
And Azure Horn Shaman.
Yes. That's so good with Roar as well. Yeah. I feel like Lionheart would definitely be among the more good stuffy factions. I was quite impressed with your Songhai deck as well. I was expecting Songhai to just not work, but actually that came together quite nicely.
I guess... If you didn't kill me that turn, I might have lethal the next turn. I might have that. Because I had
I believe that.
8 gates. Phoenix Fire, Cobra Strike. I pulled 8 gates and Cobra Strike from the Calligrapher.
I was gonna ask why you had 8 gates in your deck. That is great, actually. And to be fair, you can play, like, you've got quite a few creatures that generate spells, right? You've got Zoe, Lantern Fox, Geomancer, Sparrowhawk.
But it was my misplay to not juxtaposition the Sinja into the proper corner. I suppose that was the cost.
Oh no, I could have buffed the 3/2 instead. Like I had to regardless.
Then I suppose I should have done the Jux and then double body block with the Heartseeker and the Geomancer.
Yes. Yeah, that's a better play. I don't remember if I would have had lethal through that. Depends on what exactly was in the rest of my hand. Yeah, that would have done it. Probably. Did you put Storm Kage in? That could be spicy.
Sometimes don't play around that. Don't think carefully about my plays. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's alright.
I misplayed a bunch as well. It's fine. Like,
yeah,
new decks. while streaming as well. Like, especially as normally when I stream, I narrate all my actions thoroughly, and this time I was keeping it to myself because we're playing 1v1. So that I find that helps a lot. Just like talking out loud about my plays. I think like Sabo Vet should be really good as well with the old Sabotage combo. You play Dominate well and you play Blind Scorch Zenru. I think Vitruvian's early game is a bit shonky. Like you can't really play things like Whisper of the Sands. You only get 1 First Wish. Golems don't really do much. Like Pax is really good because it's Pax. Pyromancer's probably still good because people aren't going to be running many Blood Tier Alchemists. Like if it's in their deck, they'll only have 1 copy. Maybe like Sandhowler, just to mess with people. Although they're more likely to have minions than removal.
Dominate Will.
Yeah, you definitely want like Mirage Master, Dominate Will, and Blind Scorch Zenri. And you get like not Sirocco. You get Nimbus, Starfire. You could try.
There's so much removal in vet as well with entropic.
Yeah, like it's mostly bad or weirdly positional removal, but like you can put Incineroar in your deck in a slightly slower format. It's probably really good. Big body, relevant ability that activates the turn it comes down. And if you're playing Wildfire Ank or Sarge in general, it gets even better. But Xerx's Bloodborne spell is also really good. Like with Xerx's BBS, you can play Scion's Third Wish in your singleton deck. And just be like, alright, here's my 4-mana 5/5 flyer. Pass the turn.
Yeah, definitely.
Seems fine. Or like, you know, at some point you'll start the turn with a Dervish in play and then you Third Wish it and you kill your opponent. Or, you know, some valuable creature. Although I have mad respect for anyone who's bold enough to play Pantheron in their Highlander deck.
Oh.
Don't do that. Also, you get Circle of Desiccation, which is such a good card in any like slower matchup. Yeah, you can really get people with that. And Vanar, you've already demonstrated the power of. Yet to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like Faye is a win condition in herself, right? Because of her Bloodborne spell.
Yeah. Yeah, which adds a lot in like a slower, clunkier meta. I wonder if you couldn't play like Vesper Kara though. You still have. There's enough good Vespers that you can play, you know, 10 of them or something, and just accumulate the combos in hand. Like Frostfire is probably a good card in a format that's relatively light on removal. Or you can play like no Vespers except for a Cryogenesis and a Draugr Lord. Or some other Vesper that you want to tutor up. I think I'm a big fan of that package. You can play like Frostiver, because they'll use their Dispel on your like 3-drop or something, and then you slam a Frostiver and they can't deal with it. Lots of possibilities. And then yeah, there's Arcanist Fae. There's enough Arcanists so you can chuck together a good Highlander Arcanist deck, right?
Yeah, I was playing quite a number of Arcanists in the Fae deck.
Well, you only had like 4 or 5, but there's actually, so looking at the collection manager, I own, what's this? 26. Oh wait, hang on, it's scrolling back. There's 20 different neutral Arcanists. No, some of them are foils. 17 different neutral Arcanists, plus a few faction ones. So you can play your deck that's like 50% Arcanists if you want, especially as most of them are still at least like reasonably good. I mean, Adjudicator's crap, but the rest of them are pretty fine.
Well, I was playing 6 Arcanists.
Yeah, but I mean, you could literally play like half your deck as Arcanists, and just go off. Like,
yeah, I suppose
half Arcanists, half spells. Have at thee. Like, you can do that in this format, and it would probably be quite good. Like, you're playing some sketchy ones like Sunseer, but I bet you Mind Warper is quite good. I think that card's underrated generally. Main problem is it dies to Dancing Blades. You get Trinity Wing, Owlbeast Sage, Blue Conjurer, I guess. Sparrowhawk or the other Bond cards. Kindling if you're playing Songhai. I mean, oh my god. Like, there's some good payout. Like, you can play Death Knell. Oh, my client just crashed, I think. Well, I think that's probably a good point to end the stream. Thanks for that, dude. That was awesome. We'll have to play a few more offline games closer to the event. Make sure we're prepared.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining me. And
no problem.
Thank you, chat. I always appreciate your presence and your suggestions and your comparisons of myself to Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I'll take that. So, thank you all very much, and I will